sitting right there on top of my Cheerios.
Where you going, Graham?
I'm looking for my You understand? Somebody's stealing the damn out of my damn cart. If they want to get it, why don't they get their own, not mine?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Curiosities. I want to get to this story that I read in the AP, and the headline reads, "Get out of my house. Video shows 98-year-old mother of Kansas newspaper publisher upset amid a raid." And when I get into this, this story here got my blood boiling. It's absolutely something that's so appalling to me that I really had to calm myself down before I started taping this episode. But before I get into any of it, do me a favor. Hit that like button if you're liking my content. Please share these videos with others. If you're watching on YouTube, please. Hopefully I'll earn your subscription and you subscribe so you won't miss any of my videos in the future. And if you're watching on X, please hit me that follow. Hopefully I'll earn that from you. Let's get right into this story, okay? And I'm going to preface this story by saying that there have been abuses that the police have been known to do to the public at large. This is nothing new. I think everyone knows that, throughout our history and probably the world history, anywhere you go, whether it's law enforcement, there have been abuses of power. Now, and I'm gonna, maybe I just saw a little too much into it, but there's something about this story that really struck a chord with me. Let's get right into it, shall we? This is taking place in Marion, Kansas. This is just off the AP today. Newly released video shows the 98-year-old mother of Kansas newspaper publisher confronting police officers as they searched her home in a raid that has drawn national scrutiny, at one point demanding, "Get out of my house." And really what we're talking about here is an individual who's 98 years old. She's almost 100 years old, okay? Probably not a lot of action going on in Marion, okay? It's probably a pretty tranquil time. I've never been there. If you've been to Marion, Kansas, please drop me a comment. Let me know what it's like with it. But I'm guessing it's not, a hotbed for action. I'm just saying. So this woman is probably not used to that kind of stuff. Let's find out. Video released by the newspaper Monday shows Joan Mayer shouting at 6 officers inside the Marion, Kansas home she shared with her son, Marion County Record editor and publisher Eric Mayer. Standing with the aid of a walker and dressed in a long robe or gown and slippers, she seemed visibly upset. I mean, I'm going to show this video to you right now. We're going to talk about it on the other side, and we'll see what your take might be and if it's anywhere in the neighborhood is mine. Let's take a look at this video together, shall we?
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am.
This is my house.
I know. You're wasting your breath. Ma'am, we'll be out of here pretty quick.
Get them out of here.
They don't seem very...
They're here. Police chief.
They don't seem very kindly in their gestures.
Oh, God. Get out of my house. You're pet patrol. Get out. Stand outside. You can stand outside that
She's
door.
a feisty lady.
I don't want you in my house. What's he doing over there going through the papers?
How many computers do you have in the house, ma'am?
I'm not going to tell you. Get
I'm
out of
telling
my
you
way.
nothing.
I want to see what they're doing.
Well, they're working.
I don't care what they're
She said,
doing.
"I don't give a damn."
What are you doing? Those are personal papers.
Ma'am, those aren't papers, they're electronic devices, which is what the judge said that we're supposed to take. Okay?
You people.
I mean, think of that what you will. I don't know. There had to have been a better way to do this, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because this woman, 98 years old, the very next day after this took place, she died. Yep. That woman you just saw in the video, she died the very next day. So there's that public outcry, and rightfully so, because they're saying that it may have been attributed to this raid, that it caused her so much stress. Because again, as I prefaced, there's probably not a lot of action. There had to have been a better way to do this. And they chose to be brutes about it. I'm sure they weren't that aggressive. I mean, she's 90 years old, but I mean, let's get deeper into this story, and then you'll understand why it wasn't necessary. Okay? So it goes into what you get out of my house. The raids of the newspaper and homes of the mayors and the city council members happened on August 11th. After a local restaurant owner accused the newspaper of illegally accessing information about her. Joan Mayer died a day later. Her son said he believes that the stress contributed to her death. And I believe that too. I second that because, I mean, it's very curiously coincidental that the very next day the woman dies, you know? And, you know, was it necessary? Was it really necessary? I mean, that, you know, there's certain protections for journalists, right? So for a police chief or anybody in the law enforcement to be going after a journalist to begin with breaks all kinds, you know, of freedoms here when we're talking about the First Amendment, at least. Let's continue on with this, shall we? So the prosecutor said later that there was insufficient evidence to justify the raids, and some of the seized computers and cell phones have been returned. Meanwhile, the initial online search of a state website that the police chief cited to justify the raid was legal. A spokesperson for the agency that maintains the site said Monday. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation, or KBI, continues to examine the newspaper's actions. Legal experts believe the police raid on the newspaper violated a federal privacy law or state law shielding journalists from having to identify sources or to turn over unpublished materials to law enforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have in this country, we have a blatant disrespect for the press. Mind you, I'm not the biggest fan of the legacy press because they are part of the abuses, okay? They take their First Amendment freedoms and they abuse it by spewing propaganda. That's one thing. But they still have the protections to do it. Mind you, if they're spewing lies and spewing propaganda, that may be the case. But they have the right to do it, as does anyone else. But when you have agencies that selectively go after certain journalists, they selectively go after certain outlets. Now you're talking about a greater abuse. What you're talking about now is the government is working in cahoots with certain arms of the press. Let's not kid ourselves here, right? Let's not do that. We know that the government has been working in cahoots with certain media and social media. We know they have. We have the proof. Now, whether or not people find that to be appalling enough to actually do something about it, to make, you know, greater demands of our politicians, of our representatives, that's another story. But I think the brainwashing has been so ingrained, it's been so deeply done that it's almost impossible to undo right now without some great paradigm shift. And it ain't happening because the legacy media isn't willing to do it because they're part of the problem, okay? But that's neither here nor there. They still have protections, the same protections that allow goons and clowns like CNN to exist are the same protections for people like these small town newspapers. So when you have these small town cops going around abusing their authority, abusing their power, making all these wild accusations and going after certain people for whatever reasons, I mean, they didn't really clarify what those reasons are. Okay, it could be personal. A lot of times, you know, it could be. You know, I mean, they got skeletons in their closet. They got all kinds of stuff going on. Cops could be as dirty as anyone else. This could be another one of those cases. All I know is that what happened to this woman and what happened in this case, just on its face, is extremely unsettling. It's very, very disturbing. People really need to start making a stand. I mean it. I mean, one thing is to, you know, flip cars and burn buildings in a city. These rich folks, they don't care about any of that. They're laughing at you, man. They're laughing at you because they don't care. They don't live in those neighborhoods. They don't care. You can burn the entire place down. They don't care. They're not going to care. They don't live there. Why would they? You take this to their doorstep. You take this to City Hall. You take this to the Capitol, wherever that is in your state or city. Then, you know, they'll have a choice. They have to address their constituents. When there's that many voices that are pounding and saying, we demand better. We demand better. You put the pressure on them, and they'll have to act. Mind you, they might act against you, but they'll force them to act. And then you'll know where you stand. And then you'll really know where you stand as an American citizen. Then you'll really know what you've been supporting all this time. Figuratively speaking, we need to make enough noise. Okay? So, anyways, on that note, I hope you'll hit that like button and share it with others. Until next time, please drop me a comment or DM me. God bless.
New Kingdom Radio Theater.